Hey guys! So today in my video I'm going to talk about disabilities and invisible illnesses and just give you some brief information about those to clear up any misconceptions that you might have about them or just kind of what you can classify as a disability or an invisible illness. So I'll just kind of explain my experiences with that. So I'll start off with just what the Americans with Disabilities Act is, or it's also called the ADA for short. The ADA became a law in 1990, and it's a civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities in all areas of public life, including jobs, schools, transportation, and all public and private places that are open to the general public. So for me, since I do classify myself as someone with a disability, I have accommodations through our Student Disability Resources Office at Iowa State. So what happens with this is I talk to my doctor, and if I'm having issues with school because of my medical conditions, then I talk to my doctor, and then I talk to a person in the Student Disability Resources Office, and we decide what accommodations I'm going to need that's going to benefit my schoolwork and allow me to still do well with any of my schoolwork with still having my medical conditions. So just an example of the accommodations that I receive, and it differs for everyone. So it will even differ between people that have the same conditions as I do. Currently, I only have accommodations for my Crohn's disease. I do not have accommodations for my fibromyalgia. However, the issues that I have with extreme fatigue and joint pain, I still would need the same accommodations as I do with my Crohn's disease with those, so I didn't really feel like it was valuable to go through the entire process again unless new things come up that I would need to have added accommodations to the accommodations that I already have. So my accommodations for me are I receive a set number of excused absences per each class. So what this is I go and talk to each professor that I have for this semester at the start of every semester during the first week, and we sit down and discuss how we are going to best manage my absences during that semester. Usually, we don't actually set an exact number, but more set a plan. I will communicate with them the days that I won't be in class, and I will still keep up with my work as much as I possibly can. Now, say I am in the ER or the hospital for an extended amount of time, and I can't get an assignment done or get caught up. That's different. That is a completely different set of things where we then just work with what I can get done. However, I tend to stay very up on my schoolwork because it stresses me out when I'm not caught up and I don't like being behind. So that's kind of my first thing, is that they can't dock me for not being in class that day. And my second thing on my list, we list out our accommodations via bullet points on this form that me and the professor sign, and then we both get a copy so that it's a legal type thing through the university. I have to be given the opportunity to make up any points that I miss, and this is really important because I tend, if I'm really not feeling good because of my medical conditions, I have to be allowed to make up those points, otherwise my grade will suffer because of that. And this helps me not be punished for not being able to be in class because of my medical conditions. So that's really important for me to be able to still do well in school. And I do luckily have great professors that work with me on this, and like I said before, I keep them up to date with where I'm at with my schoolwork, and I rarely ever have to ask for an extension. I think I've asked for an extension once or twice over the past year and a half that I've had accommodations. So I just try and stay up to date on everything and start things ahead of time and really just try and knock everything out. My last actual resource that I have stated in my bullet point section of the form that I sign and my professor signs is that I'm allowed to leave during class at any time without penalty if I need to run to the bathroom. Say I am at class and then I have to leave for the remainder of the class because I am stuck in the bathroom, not feeling good, they cannot penalize me for that. So it's the same like idea as if I just couldn't get to class at all. And then I also am allowed to have seating near an exit door or somewhere where I'm comfortable and able to leave the room without disrupting my peers. So a lot of my classes now are in smaller classrooms because it's more specialized in my degree program, and my option are pretty small. So we're in smaller classrooms, so that's a little bit easier because we usually have 2 exit doors and I just sit on the end of our rows. But some classes I don't get this anymore, but we used to still have like assigned seating every now and then. Some professors prefer that. And I would have to just like make sure that I'm able to sit on the end and that people aren't taking that spot, because if I have to leave, I don't have a lot of time between when it hits me that I have to go to the bathroom and how long until it'll actually just come out of me instead of like staying in and then going when I want to go. So that's another huge part of that for me. But going off of that, just talking about why I classify myself as a person having a disability, and then I'll make a separate video, so the next one after this, about invisible illnesses too, since this one's getting a little long for you guys. So just to wrap it up, I do classify myself as someone with a disability, since my Crohn's disease and my fibromyalgia impact my daily life to a certain extent, where I feel like without these accommodations, I wouldn't be able to be successful in my schoolwork and my everyday life. Some days I like physically cannot get out of bed. Some days I physically am stuck on the bathroom floor or just on the toilet, and I can't get to class. I can't perform daily functions. So that's why I personally classify myself with my 2 chronic illnesses as a person with a disability.